Today we are talking all things Hyperspeed. I'm going to try and answer all the questions that we've seen on social media, but if I miss anything, feel free to just ask your question in the comments below or message us and we'll try to get your questions answered. So for those of you that don't have the product yet, I'm just going to go down the label and read the info for you. So the viscosity is medium, the working time is 5 minutes, the odor is low, the gloss is high. This is touchable in 15 to 20 minutes after applying. It is sandable in 2 to 4 hours. You can apply a second layer in as little as 10 to 12 minutes. And it is non-yellowing. So this is a great product to use even if you've got regular art and tumbler epoxy or fast set as your base layers. This is an awesome product to use as your top coat because it will protect those lower layers from ever yellowing. It is usable on all layers and it is food safe. So we do recommend that you wipe your caps after use. If you've got the regular caps, you want to take a paper towel or a coffee filter and just make sure you're wiping down those rims really well before you put your cap on, just so they don't get kind of glued on. And then we recommend that you close your caps really tightly to prevent any moisture from getting in the bottle. If moisture gets in here, it can cause your product to start to crystallize. So closing those caps nice and tight will help give you a longer shelf life. We do recommend that you use the product within 30 days. This can last a lot longer than that, just because we don't know everyone's environments. Some people may live where there's a lot of humidity, and again, like if moisture gets in here, it can cause the product to start to crystallize. So we just say 30 days. And you also want to make sure that any surface on your tumbler is completely dry and free of moisture. So if you've done, like I applied paint on this and then glitter, I made sure that my Color Fix paint was completely dry before I went in with my first layer of Hyperspeed. If you're doing a water slide, you want to make sure that that is completely dry before you put on your Hyperspeed, just because if any moisture gets trapped under the Hyperspeed, it can cause you some issues. Okay, I've been using this tumbler to just demonstrate some things that you can do with Hyperspeed. I have a full tutorial on this cup if you want to watch that, but I'm just going to kind of run down the process. So I did Color Fix paint with glitter, then I let that Color Fix dry completely. My first layer was Hyperspeed as well as my second layer. Then I went in with a layer of regular art and tumbler epoxy to do the alcohol inks. We don't recommend using Hyperspeed for alcohol ink just because of the low work time. It doesn't give the inks enough time to move like they should. So that layer was done with regular art and tumbler epoxy, and then I let that fully cure. I sanded it and then went over with another layer of Hyperspeed. So you can layer Hyperspeed with regular epoxy. I've done it with fast set as well, and it works just fine. Also on this top layer of Hyperspeed, I went in with Artistry Epoxy's Mattify, and I matted it just so you guys could see what Hyperspeed looks like when it's matted. I just used Mattify and a non-abrasive matte pad, and it looks great. So now I'm going to show you just in real time how to mix and apply Hyperspeed, and let's jump right into it. Okay, so I've got my medicine cup here, and I'm going to go in with 10 milliliters of each, and that's going to be a little too much, but this is a 30-ounce tumbler. I'm going to set that down just to let it level. Okay. So immediately I want to go in and close that cap really tightly, wipe off any residue. Then I'm going to go in with my part A and do 10 milliliters of that as well. I usually stop just under the line and then let it sit for a minute, because as it levels out, it can creep up a little higher. So just to make sure that you're getting that perfect 1-to-1 ratio. Okay. I've got my mix stick here. Just gonna start to stir, just stirring nice and slow. Alexa, set a timer for 1 minute.
1 minute, starting now.
I'm just gonna mix this. I'm gonna let that timer go off, and then I'm gonna mix for just a little while longer, just to make sure it's thoroughly mixed. About 1 minute to 1.5 minutes should be good for mixing. So as you can see, you can kind of see the cloudiness there. That's what we're waiting for, that to go away. When this is totally clear, you're good to go. You want to make sure that you're scraping the sides, especially if you're just mixing in 1 cup. And the bottom, you want to make sure you're scraping along that whole surface area on the bottom, just to get this really thoroughly mixed. Just some figure 8s in there. There's 1 minute, and as you can see, that's pretty clear. Alexa, stop. Just gonna mix a little while longer, just to make sure. Go through one more time. Scrape my sides. Okay, that looks really clear. My cups are tinted white a little bit, but that looks great. I'm gonna get my turner on. Okay, so I'm not gonna fuss with that anymore. I'm gonna let it level out for about 1 minute, and then I'm going to go in with my torch. We do recommend that you use a torch instead of a heat gun, and that's just because the air from the heat gun can displace the product, and then it may or may not have time to self-level before it starts to cure. So torch is best, and you just want to give it about 1 minute to kind of self-level, and then hit it with that torch.
So that covers the basics. If you guys have any more questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below, or you can always message us on social media. We're happy to help. If you don't have your Hyperspeed yet, you can get it at artistryepoxy.com, and thanks for watching.